Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8 and Third Reich events. If you're not immediately becoming aware, I've added Alexi's really great river names and sea names for mod for Black Ice. As you can see, Man, Rhine, the Seine. We got over here the Volga and the Don. This will help me talk about things better. This will help better to talk about both as in the history and as in locations of where the battles are going, because it's more cool to say we're crossing the Bug, or we're fighting our way across the Vistula or whatever, than just saying we're crossing the river here. So that's sort of a bit of a change and cool, and everything. So I want to thank him for making the mod. Okay, let's get this going. Alright. We're really getting their war prepped. Decline. Been trying to shift my imports to more European-based stuff. We're going to see how big of a hit it's going to take. Japan, no, we're not going to. Add more imports. Cross seas amphibious ship defense. Advance. That's nice and all, but we're shifting more to ground combat. Battle commander recognition. Another thing, let's just see how well it looks. I tweaked was this. I just moved the priority of display from the top to the bottom. I think that's all that it changes. I mean, I didn't change. I don't. What I'm saying is I don't know that where it is in this stack has any effect on. I shouldn't wave it around that fast, but has any effect on its like air-to-air, what units engage what first. It may, but I don't think it does. But the main thing, but I didn't change any of the values of performance, but just its display, so that it's easier to click here and see what this stack of aircraft type, since most of them have escorts. Okay, that's one thing that just happened. I was waiting for is we just had all the radar get deployed that I built. Which will mean good things. I'm going to build a couple more. Radar, but they should be cheaper now. As you can see, we're fairly well covered in a ways. We do have some in Berlin because of the earlier event. I think those two are enough for the moment. Alright, and we're looking at getting a few of these last minute units to the front. Now, this is not a victory hack, so I'm going to try to avoid going into this, doing any battles, any bombing, any battles in this province because of this, an armaments factory that I hope to take intact. If it's even 1% damaged, we won't get any benefit from it. Up here. There's another one over here in Lotz. So it is a victory point tag, or province. I don't know if I'll be able to avoid combat there. If I can just occupy it, I hope to. But it's sort of an experiment to see how well that happens and what happens with it. Okay, look at these guys. Can I get down here? No. I think they've reduced the range on some of these, or these are just so early. And so if people ask me again this series, as they asked last, why am I doing everything passive? Or at least for these submarines, is so that as soon as they take damage, I want them to come home. And not try to stick it out. Uh-oh. Flying boat prototype was stolen by somebody. And armor thickness has increased. Switch that over to welded plate, which will allow us to make other improvements in the future. Okay, I'm going to save this just in case there's something I've messed up at the start here. Feel that I need to go, oops, I meant to go do something else, so let's delay the war. But I don't think there's a major thing. So, yeah, let's do all these. Soviet Union trades are good. U.S. imports, no. Or imports from the U.S., I should say. Yeah. And imports from Japan have to go. These are some of the things I'm really sort of sweating a bit. Oh, you jumped down there on me. The only thing I really don't have a big cushion on right now is steel. Obviously, the ones that are gonna go to war with me, they're gonna automatically just end the trades once the war starts. Some of these nations that are buying some stuff from me won't continue because they don't have the money that they get from importing them. Yes, all these. Maybe I should have done this before starting the episode. I'm sorry. Man, there's a lot of them. No wonder we've got some of these guys moving rather close to the axis. Okay, let's see what happens for a short while. Yeah. Okay, we'll buy from Belgium, though we plan on taking what's. not being used eventually. And looking back at Belgium, they also have electricity available. A little bit. No. Okay, Soviets, how are you doing for rare materials? 32. I know we just got some from Belgium, but that's not going to last long. Oh, good. No. Okay. We just beat up a bunch of production capabilities there. So, first let's see about deploying some of these things. Good Panzer Division. Good leader. Okay, I have moved down a couple of what I consider good divisions with their unique HQs, but I'm going to still add a couple more here. So I really don't think I need any more in the east at the moment. And I don't know that I really need these either, but no headquarters in the area, damn it. I'll think about that. Yeah, oh, the fighters. The air spotter's alright. Is it your core T? Or no, it did, no, F, yeah, that's where it's supposed to go. Now, what do I want to build? I want a couple of submarines. There we go. Okay. So I think we're ready to take the plunge. Let's one last look here. Imports from overseas. Only financial transfers. So. Danziger War. We declare war on Poland, yay. Kampfgruppe Kempf. Yes, we want to do that. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we need to change a few laws here and a few political leaders. We're going to go from Constantine von Neurath to Ribbentrop, which will get more manpower, money, but we don't need the support for peacetime. I think that's the only political leader I'm changing at the moment. Well, intelligence, leadership, that's good. I think we're going to leave him for now. Maybe ongoing. We're going to go to service by requirement, most assuredly. And we're going to go to propaganda press immediately here. So, national revolt risk is lowered, national manpower is increased, reduce some NICs, tendency to drift towards internal factors, which that tendency is what often lowers our popularity, as I understand it. Organizational rate, counter-espionage, national unity is all improved, and production efficiency is lowered. Service by requirement. Big boost in manpower is allowed with this. Leadership, which will offset some of the other changes, is improved. Consumer goods during wartime is increased, though. But I think we're not going to get to too much of a positive thing here. Well, we don't care about peacetime because we're not at peace anymore. Reserve impact, less officer recruitment improved. And Jakob von Ribbentrop, the wine merchant, national manpower improved, money impact threat is increased, and national unity is improved. So that will be of a help to us. We can see here already we've greatly reduced the need for consumer goods. Now, I want to get these guys out. operating as well. Again, passively. Now this may be controversial to some, as it's obviously didn't happen in history. And I really wonder what would have happened had they done this historically. The way I can see this happening, well, let me back up a little bit. I've watched a lot of World War II movies, including movies made during World War II, and at least one of them had a German support ship disguised as a cargo ship moving along here that was, like the hull was filled with torpedoes, and they go inside, and it's just this huge, massive sort of, not just like one secret section, but the whole thing, just with rack after rack of torpedoes and all these other special things that were allowing the Germans to be able to raid so well off the U.S. and of course the heroes sink it and whatnot. Total fantasy in what was going on, and I don't know how much the producers in Hollywood knew it was a fantasy versus maybe this is what they're doing kind of thing, and I don't know. But The Light Horse, I think it's called, a movie about a raid in Goa during the war, in which a bunch of basically World War I veterans snuck in and destroyed. There were, I gather, three, the movie's based on real historical facts. There were 3 cargo vessels, German, that were interred in Goa at the start of the war. They, made it to the neutral port, and at least one of them was maintaining a radio receiver on board. So officially they had been removed, like in a secret room. But this is realistic, a small secret room, not a huge internal thing. And that the Germans were getting information at various places around India, with Indian sympathizers, Portuguese sympathizers, and Germans posing as non-Germans, other Europeans, gaining information about shipping and whatever, and leaking it to by radio to submarines or some of the commerce raiders, that this was a real thing. So a lot of ports had German vessels interred, and you can sort of see not so much the secret vessels, but what happened about one vessel who avoided interment, called Sea Chase, starring John Wayne. But so I'm postulating, is how I'm looking at this, is that these vessels obviously get into the Mediterranean before the war. You also get some ships that you change identities, that have papers and registration to be Portuguese, Spanish, Turkish, and whatever, that with the help of, say, Italy, that they move between ports and they sort of kind of act like they are being local trading vessels, that not in big secret compartments, but just periodically get resupply with submarines, fresh food, fuel oil, and then out in the outer reaches of some of these harbors, kind of thing, meet up at night with the submarines and resupply them and that type of thing. And quite possibly even coming into some of the larger harbors again at night and to secret piers or whatever, just sort of concealed up. And that's how I'm looking at these guys operating. And I wonder, had they done that, obviously to some degree the British would know and the French would know about it. And if they were able to identify the vessels that were, changing their identity and flags and could get at them, they would definitely sink those. But would they have done an early declaration of war on Italy? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And of course, I could be desperately wrong. I'm quite willing to admit that. But so now the grass bay, particularly, you couldn't do that with at all because it would show up too much. I'm going to leave that one aggressive. But it did operate in the Indian Ocean. It did operate in the South Atlantic, and the operational ranges that Hearts of Iron and Black Ice have does not allow it to operate out of a German port into these regions, because the Grass Bay was sunk right off here off the River Platte in the estuary here, Rio de la Plata, right outside of Montevideo, right out in here. And it was damaged and sort of sunk itself just to keep it out of British hands. And it really shouldn't have sunk itself. Lugens wasn't that great of a captain, and the British bluffed the hell out of him. They would have eventually sunk it, but he probably could have taken his vessel out at that time and either destroyed the British that were there, or if not destroyed them, and survived, would have seriously damaged them and cost them a few, cost them a few vessels at least. But the British sort of made it seem to him that there were more of them, and that it would have only just meant complete destruction for his vessel and the loss of his crew, and that he wouldn't have done any good, so just save his crew and sink his vessel. At least that's my understanding of it. Okay, what I'm doing is obviously setting up some air defense here. Let's also set it up. In Western Germany. My larger groups, we're going to operate a bit more forward. I've come to currently the conclusion that the larger, about a 6 aircraft fighter group is good, but we don't always have ports or airports that can handle that many, and we want, at least I want them to be able to repair. Now this is, I'm setting up, these are my current one section of twin engine fighters operating independently, and they got good range, but they don't have the best fighter to fighter kind of capabilities, and that's why I use them as escorts for my bombers, because most of the time I get my bombers close enough so that to be able to operate, so that you can have some of the longer range fighters with them, and it's better to have a little bit of fighter with them when they get jumped by enemy fighters than none. And then hopefully at some point the regular fighters will be able to intercept and join the fight, but without limiting them greatly as if I paired them with shorter range fighters. So I'm using that. But these guys I'm going to set up here and click night only instead of day only to work as night interceptors, which I don't think they have the text now, but here. But we'll eventually get the text to fight fairly well at night, and quite possibly better than most of the other fighter types. So that's sort of nighttime coverage as you see from at least most of Germany here. I don't know how well the AI handles British bombing. I would definitely have tried to program it to operate the British strategic bombing at night. Okay, well, let's just go up here and see what units that are not having ordered. See, you'd be smart about this is what I should do. Instead of randomly click on places. Okay, down in the south here, that's fine. Remove that, that's the old Austrian air units. Up here in the north, I'm going to get a sort of a wide view of a bit of Poland and the North Sea there. Area of operation. Right now, the Western Allies and myself, obviously, have to fly around Belgium and Holland, so it will limit the British ability to bomb in here for the moment, unless they forward deploy their bombers. Okay, what I'm going to do with this guy here is feed him to air superiority. And just give him a little area right here, because this is sort of a high target zone. And I just want them to be up there and hopefully catch the bombers while they are operating there. And Saarbrücken seems to be the other sort of high target zone. Does have, you know, one anti-aircraft in it, but a lot of valuable buildings, and hopefully it won't get, the one single one won't get destroyed, but we'll quickly draw in other fighters, and hopefully my other massive fighters will come on them and jump them and just destroy all of the fighters real quickly. So pick a fight if you will. That's what I'm looking at with that. Let's look at Sleeker Coast. I want to make sure I have all of my fighter types in the east, which I have a few that aren't part of fighter command. And I very well may be shifting them around at different times. But I wanted to make sure I at least had some here to intercept over Poland. The rest are basically set up as one type or another ground attack. So we're going to leave those not operating at the moment because we don't need to. Okay, I'm going to use the SA there to support them. Shoot, had Manstein up right there at the front at the start of this. Okay. Yep. to that. This should be really sort of overkill death for most all this stuff here in Poland. So that let's use these guys as support. We'll see how much of that is needed. Okay. And defenses. I want you to support. You to attack. You to attack. Some sort of higher SS chain I can attach him to. Yeah. Okay, we have some decisions to make here. Wartime maneuvers. Okay, home front. National revolt risk down, energy up by 50%. Wow, that's useful. And money down, okay, consumer goods down. Lose some supplies, fine, gain some metal, rare materials, some manpower, that's good. Officers, money, or no need. Moves to this. We're going to take these. That's good. We're not going to do the Blitzkrieg yet. I think we're going to do this small fleet here. Requisition civilian shipping. So, yeah, I think we may need that. Even though we got all those. Did we go to the production queue? Yeah. Pop them to the top. A few auxiliary vessels to help us out. Okay, let's run the clock a little bit. Okay. Okay, we don't want all of these popping up, so we are going to show on map. We're not going to open pop-up window. And we're going to have it displayed in log, so if we want to check it out, we can still see what's been going on there. I do want battle reports, though. Okay. And because of various changes in personality, we have more leadership research available. Not a lot more, so we'll just, let's see. I'm going to go with the home front focus. I know I was bemoaning the 5% loss a little while ago, but still. Okay, now that has been successful, so we are moving forward. Those of you are new to my playstyle, I am a micromanager. I will be handling everything for my side, basically. Well, I say, meaning I will select operational areas for submarines or something and sort of let them have at it and periodically check in with them. I will, like you saw me just do, set up air operations and then sort of let them have at it and periodically come in here and click here and look for units too damaged to properly continue, and then I'll, give them the orders for them to reorganize, and then periodically check back and see who's reorganized up and resupplied and put them back into action and things like that. But for the ground operations, I am a complete and total micromanager. I was watching some of Quill 18's playing of the Soviet Union, and I gather he won the game, but he was basically setting up fronts, for at least for the most part, and then letting them just have at it, and that's just not the way I play. Not wrong way to play, so if you play that way, that's fine. I just sort of wonder at somebody who's demonstrating, I guess you're demonstrating how you can do it. Or I just find the challenge of playing everything out like this to be of interest. Because it's, I guess, me being the general, the overall leader. And not the AI. Okay, now here. They're attacking. They got 27. Gonna bring another division in. With this level of fortification, I think we'll hold out and maybe win. But what I want to do with this is use an awfully new one. We're going to send, this is a very, maybe I should have used him on the Eastern Front for Poland. Oh well. And I'm going to clobber Poland anyways. I mean, that's not an issue. We're going to shift these 2 divisions into this attack. Or into blunting the attack. And they should get there well before this unit. But we'll get experience for these leaders. The units don't really... Experience for garrison divisions don't really matter much. Okay. Hungary, yes, we'll accept military access rights. Hungary. It's there. What does the US want? No. No, if anything, we're going to... we should probably stop a few of these sales. Don't need all that extra money. Still want, oh no, not that one. Still want some. I want to get rid of one at 10. Yeah. Still want to have some sales going with the US, but it's going to end at some point and I don't need to spend all the production. Okay, you can see we have this increase because of starting the war, so we're allowing this to continue there. And we're just making sure we're reinforcing everything. Okay, we can switch over to this map to see our gains. Okay. Now, if you're going to micromanage, and I know this is well known by many of you already, you're going to have to stay on top of everything. You can't just sort of presume that, oh, hey, it's good. Check back in a while. The kind of things you've got to keep pushing. We're going to see if they can run faster or attack faster than they can retreat, see if we can overrun them. Now, I'm not going to attack this province. Unfortunately, I might not be able to keep the Slovaks from doing that, but that's fine. It's a reinforced HQ. No. We're going to say Blitzkrieg for the start of the attack on the west. Auxiliary vessels are out, so we're doing fairly well with production now. We may even be able to cut back on some of the trades, which would be nice. Because I'd rather not have to invest so much into production of Okay, so we've had an altercation out here in the Mediterranean. So let's take a quick look. So you can see my strategy here. We've got 2, 1, one action, not sinking there. 2, 2, 3, 2 enemy convoy sunk there. 1, 5, 2, 1, 2, 1. Do that. So 1. So you can see we're 1 there. We're sinking away. Here 1, 3, 2. As we left port here, that's sort of why I waited for the war to start. 5 convoys sunk. 2 convoys sunk. We're not even yet at our hunting grounds in there. And I guess Poland isn't trading. Well, no, who's some? 1 Baltic convoy is sunk, so trading with somebody. Okay, now that Manstein still isn't there. Okay. Hurry up, Manstein. Now this province here is a 2-point victory, Lodz. But see, I don't really want to damage it, but I may just have to. Because if you damage it, you lose it. And it is, shall we say, a normal part of my normal offensive plans is to take that city. Partially because, yes, it's a victory point city, but we can work to avoid it. And when you damage normal ICs and such, obviously you can rebuild them, so it may be a bit costly, but it's not like a reason to avoid a fight. Maybe we can support that attack. Okay, so we've won there just simply by getting von Klug there. So we're going to stop your advance. So with an active defense, we can, and I have almost double the amount of normal divisions here than I normally would. I was just able to build so many other divisions. Okay, well. Plus 49. So we can... Somebody want to... Let's get rid of that oil. Now, what other laws? Okay, we're going to go over to the war economy. We'll lose some money, we'll lose some leadership. Helps with consumer goods, but does increase daily descent a little bit. And heavy industry emphasis, I think, is also help with the needs for consumer goods, which go down to 0. And so we'll get that down very quickly, hopefully. These guys. Oh, maybe SF. I don't know if they're going to be useful, but we'll move the tanks in without getting into combat. Okay, we're now in very positive territory once all those events again. Okay, well, I'm going to stop this episode now. We're going to continue our invasion of Poland next episode. Again, please like the videos, please comment. Would love to have your feelings either on my gameplay or my history or the history of what's going on now. Love to hear it all. Thanks so much. Have a good day.